Imagine a future where literally almost everything becomes effortless. Artificial intelligence writes your emails. It plans out your entire day. It answers all your questions, creates your presentations, edits your photos, and even helps you make those really difficult decisions. Suddenly, life just becomes smoother. It's faster. It's wildly more efficient. And at first glance, well, that sounds exactly like progress, doesn't it? But then, a totally different question quietly appears. If we remove every single struggle from life, what kind of people do we actually become? Welcome back to Digital Mzansi. Today, in this explainer, we're asking a question that reaches way beyond just the mechanics of artificial intelligence. We're asking whether struggle itself might have been teaching us something absolutely essential all along. Let's start with Section 1, the pursuit of ease. Human civilizations march forward. Look, nobody wakes up in the morning hoping life gets harder today. We look for shortcuts. We want smarter tools and better systems. And that instinct isn't wrong at all. It's literally how human civilization progresses. Think about it. We invented washing machines because washing clothes by hand was incredibly tough. We invented cars because walking long distances just took way too much time. We invented computers because manual calculations were painstakingly slow. Technology has always been about reducing effort, and artificial intelligence is really just the next chapter in that exact same story. But here's the catch. AI represents a massive, unprecedented shift. For centuries, our technology targeted our physical efforts. But perhaps this time around, the effort being removed isn't just physical anymore. It's our mental, our creative, and even our emotional labor. Which brings us to Section 2. What struggle teaches us? The value of the journey. Think back for a second to something genuinely difficult you've had to overcome. It could be learning to drive, finishing university, starting up a new business, recovering from a tough heartbreak, or even raising a child. The true value of that experience wasn't only in reaching the finish line, was it? It was in who you became along the way. Patience, humility, resilience, confidence, empathy. These traits, they rarely show up during periods of total comfort. They are explicitly forged through the very difficulties we naturally try so hard to avoid. So perhaps struggle isn't simply an obstacle. Perhaps it's actually a fundamental teacher. Now let's look at Section 3, the frictionless paradox, the hidden cost of comfort. Picture this. Imagine asking AI to solve every single problem before you've even had a chance to wrestle with it. Every difficult email, every creative block, and every uncomfortable conversation is just handled for you. Daily life gradually becomes perfectly frictionless and easy. But another possibility emerges right behind it. You start to become a little less familiar with uncertainty. You grow far less comfortable with failure, and ultimately you start to lose the practice and the capacity for perseverance. It sets up this really strange paradox. The more friction disappears, the fewer opportunities we have to grow because of it. Removing our obstacles simultaneously removes our primary engine for personal growth. Let's ground this in Section 4. Lessons from South Africa. Resilience is not an abstract idea. Here in South Africa, we know for a fact that resilience is not just some abstract buzzword. We know firsthand what it means to rebuild, to adapt, and to creatively persist when circumstances demand it. Communities here have had to learn to solve massive problems with deep creativity simply because the reality required it. Now, to be clear, we should never glorify suffering, but we do have to recognize that growth so often emerges from confronting demanding realities rather than just escaping them. This intense resilience has shaped some truly remarkable people in our communities. Moving on to Section 5, choosing meaning over comfort. AI should remove burdens, not humanity. This brings us to a really crucial distinction for this whole explainer. We absolutely must separate the struggles we should eliminate from the ones that actually build our character. Look at this breakdown. Technology absolutely needs to help us wipe out systemic burdens, things like preventable disease, extreme poverty, hunger, violence, and injustice. But it shouldn't steal our meaningful struggles. We need the struggle of learning a difficult skill, of working through a tough disagreement, of building trust and practicing discipline, and of creating something deeply meaningful. Because here is the absolute truth. Artificial intelligence can synthesize millions of data points in a matter of seconds, sure, but it cannot synthesize character. These deep, complex human experiences cannot simply be downloaded into your brain. They literally must be lived. You just cannot outsource the living of a meaningful life. Finally, Section 6, the future we should build, inheriting extraordinary tools. Every single generation inherits new tools, and our generation has inherited some genuinely extraordinary ones. The real challenge for us isn't deciding whether to use them, but deciding what parts of the human experience should never be outsourced in the first place. There is a massive, massive difference between using a tool to remove unnecessary suffering and using a tool to bypass your own personal growth. AI should absolutely free us from unnecessary burdens, but it shouldn't free us from becoming the kinds of people who can carry meaningful responsibility. Ultimately, maybe the true goal of technology isn't to create a perfectly frictionless life at all. It's about giving us time. Time to engage with the struggles that actually shape our character, our relationships, our wisdom, and ultimately our humanity itself. If today's conversation changed the way you think about the role of struggle in your life, then we've already accomplished something totally worthwhile. Make sure you hit subscribe and join Digital Mzansi as we keep exploring not just what artificial intelligence can do, but what it means to remain deeply human in this rapidly changing world. And be sure to join us next time for a fascinating look into a question that might just explain a lot of modern society: the loneliness economy. So instead of constantly asking how we can remove every single difficulty from our paths, maybe we should be asking ourselves, which struggles help us become more human? Until next time, don't run from every difficulty. Some of them might be quietly becoming part of exactly who you're meant to be.